Welcome to another edition of the Mav and Call Show. I'm Mav.
I'm Carl. Howdy, howdy.
How's everybody doing tonight? I hope good.
I'm good. How are you doing?
Oh, I'm great today, Carl. Great today.
I'm a little tired today. I work today. I'm tired, but here I am.
We have a really cool show for you guys tonight. We hope you enjoy it.
Yes.
Cursed.
Cursed.
We have a few cursed places and objects and a lot of stuff that, I don't think many people ever heard of.
But yeah, some of the stuff you show me, I haven't heard.
Right. That's why I mean, you see a lot of the same stuff. You see the Annabelles and the Robert dolls, but this is stuff we've never heard of. I was like, holy cow, this is going to be really cool.
I believe in cursed stuff too. Man.
Oh, absolutely.
Definitely. Yeah. I've had a few cursed objects.
I mean,
I'm going to tell them about the thing from. So I can't mention any names or TV shows, but there's a guy that has a TV show. And he bought a house in Gary. That's my hometown. And this house is called the Demon House. So you probably know who I'm talking about. But so he bought the house because this lady's kids was possessed by spirits and demons or whatever.
supposedly.
So yeah, supposedly. So her kids was like walking up the walls backwards, turning their heads around like an owl, So this lady went to the hospital and her kids were doing that at the hospital, and the only reason I believe it, any kind of belief in it, is because the police, the doctors, nurses, and even their priest was there and all vouched for them.
Right. They all signed affidavits. Yeah.
And so this ghost hunting guy bought the house and he did a show in there and a movie or whatever he did. And he was having problems with his crew and everything in their equipment and all that. So they shut down or whatever. They made what they made and they shut it down. And he bulldozed the house down to nothing. And so I lived a few blocks from there. And my dumb self decided that, hey, there's a piece of the foundation. It was just like a slab of cement. I took it. And man, ever since I took that thing, just everything that could go wrong in my life went wrong. And I've like heard things, and I didn't really see anything, but I mean, I see stuff anyways. I always have. But my life fell apart. Like I had nothing, my life didn't start getting better until I moved out of Gary. And that was just this last March 27th, 2025. And I found that thing years ago. And I couldn't find a job. Nothing. I had nothing good in my life at all.
Right.
It was terrible. And I finally got rid of it and moved away, and now everything's getting better. So
yeah, it's a lot of hard work getting it better too.
Yeah, I mean, not really though. I came out here, I found a job in a day.
Mm-hmm.
I couldn't find a job for years when I was living in Gary, and everybody was hiring.
Right.
Right. But yeah, it just was. It was bad. And then I remember hearing a couple of things. Like I heard moaning in my ear when I was trying to sleep, and I was awake. I just had my eyes closed.
Right.
And right next to my ear, I hear, "Ugh." And man, I talk about being freaked out, dude. Like I was too scared to move or run or anything, dude.
Yeah,
Anyway, so.
Yeah, some objects are cursed.
Yeah,
I mean,
definitely.
it's just what they are, And I think a lot of that deals with like some of the places we're going to discuss. The curses, I think, also come from the belief of the curse,
Right.
Yeah. So this is going to be.
I believe in that too. If you believe in something strong enough, it's the power of the mind.
Right.
You know what I mean? I've been saying to people lately, I'm like, don't speak it into existence.
Right.
You know,
Exactly.
They're saying something bad's going to happen. I'm like, don't speak it into existence, man.
Exactly.
It won't, your mind is a very powerful thing.
Now, we are going to be discussing a few of these places, and in my opinion, I think what makes a place cursed is the death around it.
Yeah.
And a lot
or like how bad the death was or what happened.
Yeah, I mean, people call it, haunted, or this place is haunted, but if you technically speaking, I guess it could be cursed.
Yeah, could very well be.
You know what I mean? So, tonight, our first cursed object, Letta the doll. Now, a lot of you probably have never heard of this doll.
I didn't until you told me.
Letta was made, I guess, carved. It's made of wood, and it was carved, they believe, over 200 years ago. It was discovered beneath a house in Wagga Wagga, Australia in 1972. And it was actually, people believe that it was made for an Aboriginal child.
Yeah, the Aboriginal. Yeah.
Now, the thing with this doll is, it has real human hair in it.
Yeah, I don't like that.
No.
I would not.
No.
I would not want a doll with real human hair, man.
No, that would freak me out, dude.
Yeah. I don't like dolls anyways.
But it's child size. So, I mean, it's like 2.5 foot tall. Yeah. You know what I mean?
When you showed me the picture of it, I was like, nope.
Yep.
And the way his hands look, I'm like, oh man, dude. Yes. Like, why does his hands look so real? Like,
yeah, yeah. And you guys don't notice in the pictures, he's kind of creepy looking.
Yeah, he is. He's very creepy looking.
You know what I mean? And I don't say that lightly, but to be over 200 years old,
yeah.
Can you imagine, like, what were you thinking making this doll and then putting real human hair in it?
Right. I wonder whose hair it was, you know?
Right. And why would you do that?
Was it a victim's hair?
Why,
you know what I mean?
Like, why would you do that, you know?
Yeah.
So, the people that actually have this doll in their house have experienced several strange and unusual phenomena. Several. Okay. Household items moving.
Yeah.
Okay. Now here's one of the things that has happened, that if this happens in my house, I'm leaving my house and I'm never coming back. Okay.
I mean, that's easier said than done, though. I've had stuff happen in houses I've lived in, and just kind of, yeah.
There's wood scuff marks all over their floor.
The people that own the doll?
Yeah.
Yeah.
They'll wake up and there's scuff marks all over their floor. Now, wood leaves specific scuff marks.
Right.
Okay, so if that doll is up and moving around, leaving scuff marks on the floor, it's time to go. You know what I'm saying? Right. Because, I mean, if there's scuff marks on your floor, dude, that can only mean one thing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So if this doll is truly what they're saying it is, I don't know if getting rid of the doll would even help at this point.
Probably not, because if you got rid of it, so them scuff marks, it's like when cars get into accidents or they sideswipe, the paint transfer.
Yep.
So if it's leaving scuff marks, it's leaving pieces of itself.
Yeah.
So if you get rid of the doll, it's still there.
Yeah,
so that probably would still be there, you know.
And another thing is their children have night terrors.
Yeah.
And that, I mean, when you think about the kids and something is terrifying your children, right. I mean, that in itself is like, what are you doing here?
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's what I would care about more.
Yeah, exactly.
If it was terrorizing my kids.
Exactly, because I mean, you can say it's a doll, you can say it's all these things, but truthfully, I mean, this doll has more history, and plus it carries, in my opinion, I think when you put real human hair in something, you're transferring that energy to it.
That other human. You know?
That's what I. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't want that doll, man.
No. Not at
I mean,
all.
like I like to collect creepy things or whatever.
Yeah.
And I all my life I have owned stuff that was owned previously by somebody who is deceased now.
Right.
I've had dead men's things.
Yeah.
And yeah, dude, I wouldn't have that doll, man. I
No.
wouldn't have,
No.
I would.
No,
nothing
thank you.
with the human hair, man.
No, that's a little weird for me.
Yeah, it is.
So our next story is I guess you'd call it an object.
What's up?
It's called the chained oak, and it's an oak tree.
Maybe the chain was cursed.
Well, the chain is still there. Now here's the story.
Yeah, because I forgot.
In Alton, Staffordshire, England, way back in the day, way back, the Earl of Shrewsbury was coming home one night, and an old beggar woman stopped the carriage and asked him for a penny. He rudely sent her away. Rudely. So she said, "You see that oak tree here on your property?"
Yeah.
And he said, "Yeah." Now, this is a true story because he put it in his diary or whatever, I guess.
Right.
And she said, every time one of those limbs falls out of that tree,
oh, that's this one. Okay.
A family member's going to die.
Yeah.
Well, he said, "Yeah, right." Well, that same night, a severe storm came in. One of the limbs on that tree fell to the ground. And that night, one of his family members died a horrible death.
Right.
So he had that tree chained to keep all the limbs up. And you can still see the chains on the tree.
Huh.
To make sure none of those limbs came down and nothing bad could happen to him or his family.
Was there a picture for that?
Yeah.
I haven't seen it yet, so I have to wait for the video. But
Yeah.
yeah, I'd like to see that. That's
now
crazy.
I'm not. Now you could say, okay, well, it was a coincidence or whatever, right?
Yeah.
But he believed it enough to have the limbs chained up,
right,
to make sure they never touch the ground, never come off the tree.
That's crazy.
You know what I mean?
Wouldn't it be wild? Now, hear me out.
Okay.
Wouldn't it be wild if they were still alive? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
Nobody ever died because of them chains.
Right? Yeah. All I'm saying is, if I see an old woman going down the road and she asks me for some change,
There
at this
you
point,
go, man. You can have
I'm giving her the change. Yeah, I'm not going to be rude about it.
Here's $50.
Yeah, he believed it enough to send his people out there and use real chains and chain up this tree to make sure no limb ever broke again.
Wow, that's wild, man. I couldn't even imagine.
So that's kind of nuts, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what do you say to that?
Right.
You know?
Mean, yeah.
Somebody died. So, well,
Man,
our next
crazy
one,
stuff, man.
Our next one is sort of about a tree and sort of about a cursed town. Now, this is a real town. It is in Wales, Carmarthen, England. And this town is like 900 to 1,000 years old.
Yeah.
It's a really old town. Now, the crazy thing is this tree is called, it's been called this since the creation of the town 1,000 years ago. Merlin's oak tree. Yes, you heard right, as in
Yes.
Merlin the magician.
Yeah, the wizard.
It was named after him, or
And see,
Mirrodin.
that's crazy because I never knew Merlin was a real person.
no,
You
no
know,
one.
I
I
just
mean, it's
always
still
thought he was like a fantasy
it's still
fairy tale.
fiction,
You know,
right?
like,
No one can say he really existed, but according to
I mean, that name came from somewhere.
the
You know?
the town, Merlin planted this oak tree.
Right.
Okay. Now it's a large oak tree, and they've always said that Merlin planted that tree. Okay. Um, they said when he planted it, he foretold that when my tree falls, so will the town.
Okay, so that's not foretelling, that's cursing.
Well,
that's
that's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. But they're saying he foretold that if when my tree is finally done, so will the town be. Or, now now here's the catch. The name of the actual town in Wells, Carmarthen, England. It's his name is actually Meerden. That's Merlin's name.
Right.
Meerden. Now, the name of the town is Caferdrin.
Okay.
That actually means the Fort of Merlin.
Oh, wow. Really?
That's what it means.
That's kind of cool, man.
So
I kind of want to go there, dude.
I know, right? I want to see this town. Now, they started to remove the tree because it started to decay. Okay. The very next year in this town, after they removed this tree, they had a train derailment. And the same year, they had some of the most severe flooding ever seen on record.
Okay.
So, somebody got the bright idea, let's go back to Merlin's tree and at least get a branch and bring it back to the town.
Right.
Now, the branch from this tree is still there, and it's in their museum, and the town's doing fine. Believe it or not. True story.
Sounds like a mission. Let's go get that. Let's go get that branch and see if the town falls.
Yeah, I'd rather not piss Merlin off, dude.
No, as long as we got that branch, we'll be fine.
I mean, Merlin's gonna come after us because we took his tree.
Right. Wow, that's something else, man.
Is that not a wild story?
Cool, man. I want to see this branch, man.
Yeah, that's a wild story, right?
Yeah.
But that is an absolutely. I don't. Now, again, as you say, you could call it a curse or a future foretold, whatever. Yeah. But Merlin said, if something happens to my tree, it happens to the town. So they removed the tree because it started dying, and pretty much all hell broke loose.
Right. Wow, that's wild.
Yeah. Kind of crazy, right? I mean, now, they've never found any evidence that Merlin was a real person.
Right.
Except, again, you have the name of this town, Caferdrin, meaning the Fort of Merlin.
Yeah.
And saying that Merlin planted this oak tree. So, I mean, he could have been a real person. Yeah. Nobody really knows, you know what I'm saying?
But that also could be a name like Johnny Appleseed. Like he wasn't a real person. Well, it was based on a real person, but his name wasn't Johnny. He supposedly went around planting apple trees everywhere and making peace with people fighting and stuff like that.
That's what everybody says. Well, you got to remember way, 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 way back when supposedly like King Arthur, because they're saying King Arthur had to be a real person too.
Yeah.
I've seen a lot of shows where they're claiming, hey, like there's a statue of King Arthur over in England.
He's the one that had the Knights with the Round Table,
right? Exactly. And Merlin as his. Wizard. Now, a lot of people claim this was a real king.
Right.
there was no, say, per se, King's List back in the day or anything like that. But back when, you know, Merlin and King Arthur supposedly existed, they didn't speak the way we speak. So his name,
their language was much different.
Yeah, his name wasn't Merlin; it was Mirrodin.
Mirrodin, yeah.
You know, and over time and dialect and things like that, everything changed. Merlin, as we say today,
right?
But Mirrodin or Merlin or whoever he was, he seriously could have been a real person.
Yeah. I mean, I don't see why not.
But did he have the power like he does in the stories? There's the rub.
Yeah, so he probably was a magician, but like Chris Angel. You know what I'm saying? Like,
he could have been. I mean, honestly.
Yeah.
You know, or he, you know, I heard different theories. You know, he could have been a jump in an evolutionary chain, you know, where he could do things. But I mean, but to do the things that, even in the stories that he's done, that's pretty crazy.
Right.
You know. So, all right.
Moving right along.
The haunted Avon Bridge in Indiana.
Yeah, I want to go see this.
This is on County Road 625 East, and it's about a half mile or so down south of US 36 in Avon, Indiana. It's in Hendricks County, and story goes that a woman and a baby fell off the bridge.
Yeah.
And at night, you can hear her scream, and then the baby's crying.
Yeah.
And I mean, we've actually just seen, Carl and I both just watched a video on it where.
Yeah, it was pretty trippy.
Yeah, it was pretty creepy.
They got so far and you can hear a baby crying.
It and like he
scream,
took off,
scream crying, you know, like.
Yeah, he took off running. You know what I mean? I personally have never been there. I don't think Carl has.
I haven't been there, but I want to go. And if I hear that, I'm not running. I want to see. You know what I mean?
Maybe. I mean,
because that's pretty crazy.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
And you know, I that story, that video we saw, that's very believable, because what are the odds that you can get a baby to cry like that
on cue?
Not just that, unless you heard it.
It was super dark outside underneath this bridge.
Yeah.
Super dark inside. So why would you have a baby and a woman?
Right.
And it didn't sound like they were close to the camera guy or anything like that. It was just like off in the distance. You could hear this, and it was pretty nuts.
You know, on the other podcast that we did, I talked about the graveyard that I hung out with, that I lived in for a little bit, whatever.
Yeah.
Man, me and my buddy was in there one night. We were smoking, some Magic cigarettes, and it was like 2:30 in the morning, man. And like 30 feet away from us, we just heard this blood-curdling scream. This woman was screaming like she was being hurt.
Right.
And there was a full bright moon. We could see in the graveyard. It wasn't very dark.
Right.
It was pretty lit up, dude. There was nobody there, dude. She was literally just feet away from us.
Right.
And I was like, maybe that's our cue to leave. And my buddy was like, no, man, let's go check it out. And I said, oh, you're white, ain't you? He was like, yeah, let's go check it out. I was like, all right, whatever, man. So we went to where we heard there was nothing there, man. There was nothing there.
See,
and I should have looked at the name of the grave.
That's kind of what I think would happen at the Avon Bridge. You would go to check it out. You'd hear something, you'd go through the bridge, and there'd be nothing there.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It would be like a waste of your time.
Mm-hmm. There's another bridge around, my friend... Casey, if you're watching this video, comment to where this Crybaby Bridge is. It's called Crybaby Bridge, and my friend Casey took me there a couple times. Nothing happened, but it is like an eerie place, you know, like you go there and it's like, man, what happened? I don't even know why they call it Crybaby Bridge.
Oh yeah, it's on a few lists.
Is it?
Yeah. A lot of people have talked about it and stuff, and
so if she's watching, comment, like, tell us where it's at. I forget. I mean, we could look it up, but
Yeah.
we're not going to.
Now we are going to talk about cemeteries, though.
Yes.
Now we are on to the Step Cemetery.
Yes, not the pet cemetery, the Step Cemetery.
Step.
Yes.
This is on the
with 2 P's.
This is in the Morgan Monroe State Forest here in Indiana. They say that when you first walk in, you see this. And then it's kind of off in a clearing by itself. But there's a woman in black, and she's always walking to this one specific baby's grave. And they don't know if it was her baby or whatever, but she always goes to this baby's grave.
Mm-hmm.
And people claim to have seen her and things like that. Now, I can be honest with you, if I'm in a graveyard and I see a woman in black walking over to a baby's grave, I'm probably going to walk the other way.
Yeah, right. No, thank you.
But at least she isn't walking to our next location inside the Step Cemetery.
Yeah.
There is something there that is they refer to as the Warlock's Chair. It's some kind of tree stump that...
Man, see, that sounds familiar to me, man. Like,
yeah, absolutely.
I feel like I know what it looks like.
Right.
Like I haven't seen anything that you've looked up and
right.
done research for. I haven't looked
right.
at any of his pictures or anything.
Yeah, he doesn't usually see anything till I get done with editing.
Yeah, I'm not going to see it until I look it up on YouTube and watch our video, But I feel like I know what it looks like and everything, dude. Like,
yeah.
It's creepy.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah. Now, the oldest...
I wonder if I've seen it before, like, if I was ever there and didn't realize it, because I've been all over.
Maybe. I mean, that's a possibility. Now, the oldest grave in there is Isaac Hartstock. He was a veteran of the War of 1812. Now, that was a very long time ago.
Yeah.
He died in 1851. So that kind of gives you a date to go off of to say how long ago this place became a cemetery. You know what I mean? And why is it in the middle of the state forest? Yeah, of a state forest. Out by itself.
Yeah, that's odd.
You know what I mean? But it's kind of weird, right? Like to have.
I've been into a cemetery that was in the middle of the woods.
Yeah.
And dude, it was creepy, bro.
Right?
Like they were really old headstones and everything. There was nothing else. It was just a dense wooded area.
Oh yeah.
I was like, why is this here?
Right.
And it was creepier because there was different last names on all the headstones.
Yeah.
It wasn't like a family or nothing.
Right. It wasn't like a family plot.
Yeah. And there was, I'd say there was a good like 40 something stones maybe.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just like, man, this is odd, dude.
Yeah, that's kind of weird.
One of our viewers, I know she's gonna watch this. Is she's the one that took me there?
Mm-hmm.
I was like, it's out here somewhere, man.
Okay.
But yeah, I don't know. I don't remember the name of the place or nothing, but I'll figure it out. We'll talk about it on another podcast, probably.
Okay. Yeah, we can do that.
But,
well, we hoped you guys enjoyed our Cursed podcast.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. That's I didn't know that about Merlin, man.
Yeah, that was pretty cool, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, you guys comment, leave questions, or places or anything. Like, let us know what you guys think. I mean,
tell us if you have any cursed objects.
We know you guys like the Strange and Unusual podcast, so we tried to do a real good one for you.
Yep.
All right. We'll see you guys later.
See you.